and me come together. Oh yeah. Ooh, yeah. Come together. Ooh, come together. You and me come together right now. There's joy in unity.
Hello, I'm Lloydetta Quaicoe, and welcome to Sharing Our Cultures. You won't want to miss this episode. It's with Ogaga Johnson. She is a project management professional, a coach, a consultant, and a public speaker, and she's got a lot to tell us about careers. Welcome back to Sharing Our Cultures. And joining me in conversation now is Ogaga Johnson, and she's the founder and CEO of Verisalt. Welcome to Sharing Our Cultures.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
Yes, I'm so glad you could make it. You're such a busy person. You're a project management professional. You're a consultant. You're a coach. You're a public speaker. Oh my goodness, we're just honored to have you,
Thank
to
you.
be here today and to let our province know who you are. So before we talk about your company, which is a successful company, we want to talk a little bit about you.
Okay.
So tell us, so how did you end up here in Newfoundland, Labrador?
That's an interesting story.
Okay, all right. Yes, I love stories.
I guess it's really two ways. So I got married and my husband, we thought about it. Where do we want to stay? Because he was already here, but I was in the UK. And then we decided, okay, maybe we'll make Canada, specifically Newfoundland and Labrador home, since he came to study here and, he just made this place home. So that's how I moved and I packed my bags and everything, leaving family and all behind and literally coming down to Newfoundland and Labrador.
Okay. So just you and your husband, you don't have any other family member here?
No, not at all.
Not at all. Okay. So what was that like for you, kind of leaving everything and coming to a place you'd never been before?
I will say that I will just put it in love. Only love could have made me do that because, it was not easy. It had lots of challenges, settling in, coming from a home and a family where we are very close, very tightly knitted. We do everything together, and coming from a background where we have a very big family. So I've never known a situation where I was, just alone without people. So it was really strange to settle in here, not knowing lots of people. But the good thing was that my husband was part of the church here. So that local community, now became family and helped me to settle into, the province and really start calling or feeling this place like home. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, that's really nice. So were you working or studying prior to coming to the province?
I was working.
Okay.
So I was working as a project manager with one of the biggest airline groups in the world. And I literally had to say bye-bye to that and move on here. And it was scary, really, really scary, especially because of the various narratives that you hear that, you'll probably have to start from scratch because you're coming into a new country. There are no jobs in Newfoundland and Labrador. I heard that one. Yes. But yes, it was scary at first, but everything turned out to be not too bad.
Okay,
good.
And they say here in Newfoundland it was hunky-dory. I'm not going to find the history of that term. But okay, so then when you came, was it easy for you to get into work? Like, did you try to get work, or were you just waiting around to see what would happen?
So I have a very resilient character, and I tend to go against what people say. That's just me. Immediately people told me that, I'll have to start from scratch. There's no jobs. I'm like, okay, we will find the job and we will not start from scratch. That's my kind of personality, And also, I just knew that I was packing my life from somewhere to join my husband because we got married, and that was a good thing. Because, it's a good thing when two people, come together, become one. So I just knew that there must be opportunity for me in this place because I was working in line with what was good, and so immediately I came in, got my work permit, got my PR, and I just really found a job. Within the first, 2 to 3 months, I already was working. So it was not difficult for me to get a job, but I would say it was not because there were not challenges or barriers. There were lots of challenges, lots of barriers. But what I ensured that I did was understand who I am, the value that I was bringing in terms of my background, my experience, my education, that they were valuable and I was able to translate them into what was important in Newfoundland and Labrador. And that helped me to settle well. So I had to know who I was and, understand that I had value to bring to the province.
Okay.
And that helped. That mindset shift changed everything.
Right, that sense of identity and
Yes.
worth and your own agency.
Exactly.
Wow, that's why you're a dynamic person. So can you tell us what were a couple of the challenges that you faced that you had to overcome, that mindset sort of helped you to overcome?
So first of all, you're not coming with your own network when you move. You're coming alone. You don't know anyone. Most times we form networks when we go to school.
Yes.
Oh, this was my buddy in university, my buddy in secondary school, high school. But I was coming with no one, so I didn't know anyone, right? And and the people in the industry, I did not know them. The industries within the province, I did not know them, right? And Newfoundland is a very close-knitted community because everyone sort of knows each other. So it was just how to break into that circle and find myself there and not lose myself. So networking was a big challenge, especially because I like to stay in my corner. Like, I know I talk a lot, public speaking and all that, but I really do love my space. So having to, go out of my own space and actually meet people, network, make the intentional effort to network, that was a challenge for me. And then other challenges also, because you don't have Canadian experience, because I was coming, I didn't have any Canadian experience. I don't have a Canadian education, even up till now, all my education were in Nigeria and also in the UK. So I was coming with nothing Canadian on my resume, right? So what I had to do, and lots of people struggle with that. In fact, that's how Verisol started, right? It's hard to translate what you have and say, you know what, this is still relevant, even if it's from a different country. So that struggle of being able to translate that value that I knew I have and say, yes, it is relevant globally, including in Canada. That was a challenge, and it had to do with, understanding what were those values. How can I match them to the values that are relevant in Canada? How can I use the same language that they, when they talk about, my field, my career, what language do they talk about? How do they speak about it? That, because it's different country-wise, right? So those are some of the challenges I had to overcome. And I'll say the final challenge that I had to overcome was building, which is still sort of related to networking, but just building relationships, because we're coming from different cultures.
Right.
Different cultures, different values. I may laugh at you and just, I'm laughing, I'm playing, but you may not take it like that. You may take it that the person doesn't respect me, right? So understanding the culture of where I am now and being able to, for lack of a better word, fit into the culture without losing my own identity and my own self and my own culture as well was important for me.
Yeah. And that is important for everyone, actually, who comes here. It's like finding out, first of all, how are things done here?
Yeah.
But you would never know unless you live here, right? Or unless you connect with other people,
Absolutely.
who this is their home and they're willing to share and lead you along the way and say, well, this is how we do it and this is where you need to go. Because that would have been a challenge for you as well, trying to find out, well, who do I contact? Like, I'm looking for a job now. I want to work. I've got my experiences outside of Canada. How did you do that? The actual process of finding a job.
So I would say one of the main things was to find out, where do jobs get posted in Atlantic Canada? Because yes, I can go to Indeed and all the other job sites, but in particular, what job sites can I really look at? What job sites do Atlantic Canada, St. John's, hiring managers and employers frequently go to post jobs. So I got some ideas on these are the different places, and I use those, different platforms to search for job openings. And then once I found the job opening, I tailored it to match what they want, and show them. Because, I always tell people that, your resume is not just a document for all your life and work experience. It is really a document to show the hiring manager that the value you're looking for in this role is the same value I have, and I can bring it to the role. And so being able to understand the value I have and say, yes, it can fit into this job, and then send the application for it. And then when called for an interview, present myself, in a professional way, being able to be articulate about my experience and, do the homework to say that, yes, you want a product manager to do this. This is what I did somewhere else, not in Canada, but this is how it translates to what you want to do in Canada. Oh, I worked in this company. This is what the size of the company was. And it is similar to the size of this company here. You have to be the one to connect the dots for the hiring manager, because you're the one with the cultural and diverse experience, because you're the one coming from away.
Yeah.
So that was one thing I had to do. It's challenging, right? But it's also about, I just knew I had to take responsibility. And like I said, I'm very resilient. So I wanted to show, I wanted to show that, not me. I'm different. Yeah. Like, no, people may be starting from scratch, but I know that I do not have to. Right? People may not be getting jobs, but I know the value and the worth of who I am and the investment, in myself as a person that my parents have made, that different people have made in me, and I'm not going to let that waste. Right. So that was the determination.
So I'm sure when they're hiring and they got several people, you stand out because you've got the personality, you've done the research, as you've said, and you've got what it takes to convince a hiring manager, I'm the one for this position.
Exactly.
Right? Okay. So you were able then to be employed here, and but later on, I guess you decided you were going to have your own company. So we're going to talk about that a little later, because I want to see how you did it and how it's been so successful, and what helped you to have such a successful business. You are great, and I'm so glad. So glad we're having this conversation, because I think a lot of what you've done and what you're doing now, even just what you've said the last few minutes we've had a conversation, is going to help someone who's out there and thinking, oh my, I'm here and I'm looking around and I don't know what I'm going to do. And I have the skills and I have my training outside of Canada, but I don't have quote unquote Canadian experience.
Yes.
And you wouldn't have that unless somebody gives you that opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah? Okay. Well, just hold on, and we're going to be back in a short time to talk about Verisalt.
Awesome.
And sharing our cultures, we'll be right back.
Your opinion matters, and we want to hear from you. Get in touch with us using our viewer feedback line, your direct connection to shaping the shows you love. It's easy. Just grab your phone, scan the QR code on your screen, and take our quick survey. Share your thoughts, and let's make your viewing experience even better. At Rogers TV, we know our community thrives because of the incredible people who support it. Today, we want to extend a heartfelt thank you to all our amazing volunteers. Your hard work, dedication, and passion make our productions possible, bringing local stories and events to life for everyone to enjoy. Whether you're behind the camera, in the control room, or helping at events, your contributions are invaluable.
You're watching Rogers TV St. John's.
And welcome back to Sharing Our Cultures. And we're still in conversation with Ogaga Johnson. I now want to find out, and we want you to tell us about Verisalt. You're the CEO, you're the founder. What motivated you to start it? How you came about the name for it? The floor is yours. Tell us about it. We're all ears.
Okay, so it's a good connection with what I was saying earlier on, because having the experience of the truth of what people were saying. I'm not saying when I got those people telling me, oh, there are no jobs, I should I may have to start from scratch. They were all well-meaning advice. They were people that, this is the experience they have seen, so they were trying to safeguard my emotions and help me, right? However, just knowing who I am and just identifying who I was, right? And then going out and I saw that, it was possible. I started helping others to see that it's possible as well. They can achieve the same results, working with them one-on-one, helping them to overcome the challenges and the barriers that they may face when it comes to thriving in a career as an immigrant in Canada. And it was working. So I was like, okay, that means I'm not too special. It's not just about my resilience or anything. It's something that is a strategy that can work. So I developed a framework, right? And that was really how Very Results started. I wanted to help other immigrants to see that they don't have to take the narrative of, what they hear everywhere, the other narrative, that they can take the narrative that they can thrive in their career. One of the sustainable development goals, for example, is decent work and economic growth. So that is one of the main things Very Results is here to do. So we are a social enterprise, really empowering immigrants by helping them to secure decent work and contribute to economic growth wherever they are. Because for immigrants to come in, for a country to open their doors for, people to come in, right? It's because they know that these are people that have value and they can contribute to their economic growth and move the country forward, right? So let us do that, right? And that's what Very Results is there to do, to solve those labor shortage challenges, right? Because that's why doors are open. There's labor shortage. Let's bring in some people to help to grow the economy. So to ensure that, the mandate, for the economy to grow happens because we have these skills. There's no need wasting the skills. I see sometimes medical doctors, for example, because they can't get their license yet, right? They are Uber driver. Or these are people that can translate that skill, for example, to become product managers for medtech companies. So basically build technology products for medical professions. So they're not practicing medicine because they're trying to get their license to practice, but they're still using their knowledge, their skills, but in a different light, building technical products for people like them. And they can do it because they have the subject matter expertise. So they can inform what kind of products people in the medical profession can use. So they are not not using their brain. They're still using their brain, but in another light before they can get their license to become medical doctors, right? There's so much value that immigrants, can bring to an economy. And I feel like that's why the government brings in immigrants, right? So that's the main mandate of Very Result, to solve labor shortages by empowering immigrants to secure decent jobs and contribute to economic growth, because that's what we want to do. So empowering us to do it.
Wow, that's amazing. I haven't heard it put that way before, but
we're getting better at talking about ourselves.
That's right, yes, I know. Which is great, because it is sad, though, because see someone come, as you say, a medical doctor or an engineer, but they have to be certified, or they have to get their license to practice, but they're sort of sitting at home, and then, like you say, being Uber drivers or taxi drivers or working in. And then now they get so comfortable, they call it survival jobs. Oh, I'm in a survival job. This was a survival job. You have the education, you have the training. Some of them have up to 15 years of experience in their field. But when they come here, they cannot work because they see the barriers. Whereas you are helping them to see the opportunities, that they have the potential and the agency, and empower them to do that.
Exactly. Exactly. So, for example, one of the things we just started is a podcast called Mind the Gap, right? And, we called it Mind the Gap because, we said an analogy of the UK, right? The train, you say Mind the Gap. They are not planning to cover that gap or close that gap. Never. That's why they're always telling you be aware of the gap so you don't fall into it, right? Now, we know that people are working on closing the gaps and the barriers, but it will take time. So before those gaps are closed, right, through the Mind the Gap podcast, we want to make immigrants aware of the gaps so they can mind it and not fall into it, but overcome it. So that's the goal of that podcast. And it has been helping, lots of people. We just recently launched it, and it's been getting some good views and helping people, because do you know what the truth about it is? There's going to be gaps. There's going to be barriers, right? There's going to be struggles, but how can we overcome it?
Right. So most of the clients that you work with, on a consultant basis, what would be their background? What would be like where would they have come from, or what sort of careers they would have had prior to coming?
Yeah, so we work with globally. So because it's we leverage technology and education to solve this problem that I mentioned, labor shortages. Right. So we do everything online. So in an edtech format. So we have like a learning management system. We work with all our clients online, and so they come from, most of them are immigrants. So whether it's from an African background, Asian background, it doesn't matter as long as you have. So, and most of them have some form of experience from back where they are coming from, but they don't know how to translate that experience to what's relevant with what's the Canadian workforce or the Canadian job market wants. So that's the challenge. And some of them may need only very little upskilling. So we do very rapid upskilling that within the 12 weeks, you have upskilled, you have translated your experience, and you're ready for work. So those are the kind of programs that we do. So within 12 weeks, someone now knows exactly what their unique value proposition is. They are confident to present it to any employer. And any gap that they might have had in their experience or in their, skill sets, they have upskilled, within the short time to do. So they don't have to necessarily go and retrain. They're leveraging their existing skills, existing experience, and using it in an in-demand field right in the province and, in Canada generally.
Okay, and that is so important.
Absolutely.
That is so essential in getting them to contribute, which is, as you said, when immigrants come here, and why the government brings us is so that we can contribute to the economy and economic growth of the province. So you're doing a great job with that. So you have to create or design specific courses that's tailored to each individual in a way, depending on what their career or their experience, prior experience.
So what we did first of all was identify what are in-demand fields right now, like career paths that research has shown that they will need millions in the next 3 to 5 years. So we saw that project management was one area. It's a skill. It's a skill that's transferable in different other fields as well, in terms of leadership, stakeholder engagement, communication. So what we do is we assess the skills. Based on the skill you have now, what in-demand path, within the country can your skill translate into? Oh, it can translate to project management. Great. This is the little gap you have. Come upskill here, work on a live project so that you be confident about it, and then you're work ready for it. Okay. And then also we noticed that product management was another field that was coming up. Software development as well is another field that is coming up. So now we started with project management. Now we have business analysis, product management, and software development. So those different career paths people can come in and upskill in, right? And then from there, we give them projects that they can actually work on. Because like you were saying, how will people hire you if you don't have a Canadian experience? Because sometimes you need that bridge, right? So we provide that bridge where they come in a Canadian work experience. They can actually work with a cross-functional team to work on a project based on, the career path. So for example, a business analyst will do a business analyst role within the project. A project manager will do a project manager role within the project. Software development will build a product within that. So they can have that hands-on experience that they can use, and say, oh yeah, this is what I did. This is how I did it. So I know what I'm talking about and I can do it. Try me out in the interview, right? So that's how we prepare them to be able to, translate their skills from wherever they are coming from to what matches in the Canadian context.
Okay. And so would they do this in a team? Because I know you're using technology, right?
Yes.
So you can communicate with anybody anywhere now in the world. So will they have a team, as you're saying, software management, project management, so they will produce a project or design a project as a team, and that will be something they can use on their resume and to talk about when they are going for an interview?
Yeah, so actually what happens is, so for example, we have a product that we are building. So we could put them as working as interns on that product. we have other partner companies as well that are doing different amazing work. You can say, hey, do you need a project manager to work with you on this project for the next 2 to 3 months? Yes, okay, here you go. Here is someone that can work on that. Oh, you need a software developer. Okay, I have someone amazing. Here's the profile. Can they work with you on this project? And then if we have the projects, because we're building an app called Skill Match AI, that will really revolutionize how career changers switch jobs, so they don't have to reskill if they don't need to, but translate from a field that maybe, maybe going through, for lack of a better word, recession, to a field that is more in demand, so that their skills are remaining relevant, right? So we're building that tool. So sometimes we put our students, okay, cool, build the product, so that when they finish, they can say, oh, you know what, see that product up there that people love? I built it. That's pride of work, right? Something tangible that you can show, that you can put on your portfolio, that is not a makeshift project, but it's something that is actually life and that is going to be launched and is going to be used on a global scale.
Wow, that's brilliant. And that's all part of your brains, right?
Yeah.
you designed all of that.
That's my
That's your
brainchild.
brain. That's your brain. And I think the podcast as well. I mean, that's where it is now. I mean, it's very popular that people could go there and learn and engage with that knowledge and information as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I have learned so much in the few minutes that we've been here, and I'm sure our viewers will appreciate you so much. So thank you so much for coming in, and all the best in the future for Verisalt.
Thank you so much for having me. It was good to be here.
My pleasure always.
Thank you.
And Sharing Our Cultures will be right back.
Your opinion matters, and we want to hear from you. Get in touch with us using our viewer feedback line, your direct connection to shaping the shows you love. It's easy. Just grab your phone, scan the QR code on your screen, and take our quick survey. Share your thoughts, and let's make your viewing experience even better.
Thanks to Ogaga Johnson for sharing such inspiring information with us. And thanks to you for watching. Join us again next time and meet some more amazing people who are making a difference in our communities.
Come together, you and me, come together right now, for all the world to see. Come together, you and me, come together right now. There's joy in unity.